today's day and age, like use Vietnam as an example, the American public or the press want immediate results, and that's why. Is that not a reason why?
Let me go back, since I talked about that earlier. You're on something. I think you're on an important comment there. Remember when I said earlier, a couple hours ago, I made a comment. I said, answered you. I just want to go back and get some other information. I made a comment that where Weinberger said, we're not going to get any more conflict unless we have support in our team. That you're touching on this right now. And then I went back and said, yeah, but in Vietnam, when we started, well, we had the support in our team. Which raised the question, what happened? Why did we lose it? Where's the thing you're touching on? So what happened? Why is that all training late? Because we put out, I'll tell you what, you look back, we put out all these phony reports, all the progress we're making. The press got wise to that and started printing it back in this country. Plus the fact, remember, we had that 1 year rotation policy. People going over and back, and they're coming back, all those, their comments say it's not working, it's diffusing throughout our society. We couldn't stop it. Because the guys are coming back, they're even talking about it. So now we have a mismatch between what the government is saying and the events that they're playing out. Support went right to the floor. You've got 11. In World War II, nobody said that war was going to be over early. In fact, Churchill said blood, sweat, and tears. Couldn't even promise a victory. We really made the enemy look bigger than they were. We said, God damn, we're going to have to work this problem, otherwise we're not going to make it. We in Vietnam knew we had all the resources. We were on top. We didn't call up the reserve. Didn't get everybody support. Plus, we started lying when our goddamn progress wasn't going good. El Tuba. Why do you lie?
Do you think we have a little disinformation going on from the other side?
Yeah, you're always going to have that. Everybody says, the Russians are always pumping out disinformation. You think we go around the world and tell the truth to everybody? We didn't even tell the truth to our own people. We said we were succeeding when we weren't. That's disinformation. Now, I know that's not pleasant to hear, but that goes on. You've got to face up to it. I'm trying to tell you, you don't correct your mistakes.
Why did that happen originally when the people were still behind bad information?
Remember, let me go back one point before I hit you. Hang on to your question. Let's go back an example. I know it's hard to accept. Let's go back to DIVAC. The Army went out with the blessing of the Pentagon. They put this tape out. They gave a copy to Denny Smith. Which they showed these drones going exploding in the areas. Look at that thing's hitting accurately. They forgot to tell the guys they were command destructing those from the ground. That's disinformation. But then when he was told that happened, he came unglued. And he should have. Then the word got out, the whole press got it, they command destructed those drones. End of DIVAC. So don't say we don't pump out disinformation. We do. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have deception in war. You may need it. But it goddamn well better work, and you better understand what they're doing before you get into it. It's going to be there. But when you're in a situation where it's going to drain out over time and you're putting stuff out, that's eventually going to get out. And particularly so when we had these 1 year tours, people are going there and coming back and saying, geez, this sucks. And they're talking, and of course they're talking to everybody and their friends, and the press is over there getting it pretty soon. The whole thing come on.
An example would be put out information on polls wasn't true. And there are 3 or 4 other polls come out that are diametrically opposed to what your campaign has done.
Second.
Say that
Yeah, not too good. Particularly if they look into it and say, geez, this is a rigged poll. It's a phony device. Because they'll start, well, how did they poll? What were their techniques? Found out took a narrow sample or something, or what you call selected group in order to make it look good. In other words, rig the poll so you get the results you want. Just like you rig the test so you get the results you want. And you got to be very careful. I'm serious about it.
In the instance you were talking about on the guerrilla warfare, going after the moral.
Incidentally, that doesn't mean the other guy's done it all right either. I'm not saying that because the corporate, you really, when you're thinking, you got to think about these things. Go ahead.
And you were referring to the statements by General Blight.
By who?
Ball.
Excuse me, Ball.
Ball. Okay.
I didn't even get them wrong. He's the guy I talked to.
He said that as an effective commander, you need to, inspire your men and then give them a mission and let them go do it. We got in trouble.
Now,
We got in trouble last time we did that back in 1972.
okay, now, if you're gonna do that, know what I said, I made something very
You did
important.
say be prepared to stand by them.
Well, but I said something else. And if you're gonna do that kind of thing and let them do it, that suggests then, I didn't say suggest in very strong, you better have that common outlook so you understand the kind of things they're gonna be doing and the constraints you're gonna have upon them,
Yeah.
rather let them do it.
And they didn't
Without
get in
that
trouble
common
for
outlook.
breaking into the Democratic headquarters the wrong way. They got in trouble because they weren't supposed to be in there.
And you're violating cultural. And
Yeah.
in this country, that sort of said, you really shouldn't do that.
Well, we got carried away with the game.
Well, yeah, but see, you're in the United States, and even whether you're one political party or another, or you're one aspect of society or another, there's certain cultural constraints upon you that are looked down upon. And if you violate that, of course, if you don't get caught, you might be all right, but if it gets caught, all of a sudden you're deep yogurt. They might have thought, well, hell, we're gonna make it free, but they didn't, and they paid the price. Gotta keep those things in mind. Back to you.
Well, originally, this was for the people behind the Vietnam War. So
Say
was
again?
it part of the strategy to put out this information? Was it some grand plan that they had, they thought they had to do that? Or what was the purpose behind this information?
Well, if you're gonna-
They still had to support.
If you're gonna get in war, relative to your adversary, and you wanna pump out disinformation or misinformation, or allow him to draw his own incorrect conclusion when you're operating.
This is when I was-
But on the other hand, if you're gonna be in operation, you say, boy, we really need to support the American people. We say, these guys, we don't even have to call it, look at how they didn't call it the reserves. And, they said, we can operate this economy, full blow, plus we can fight that that wasn't even a war, just a too big thing over there. And 1 year tour, well, if that's the case, how come we didn't end? See, that's one important thing, why the draft, I think is important. I know it's unpopular. The draft and calling it the reserves, what you do when you do that kind of thing, see, the people, they say, hey, this is kind of serious. And then don't underplay what you can do. They say, we really got to pull this one together. Another thing, by having a guard, calling it the guard of the reserves, well, that seems work. In fact, I think a large portion of force should be guard. Because, the guard and the reserve has very strong moral ties to their local communities. And if you got the support of the people and bring them up, see, that tends to solidify that you keep it together. And if you do that, then you have a greater option for playing deception campaign, because now people won't say, oh, we got to be careful, we could lose this thing. It might just look like a bunch of jerks. So you bob it up, well, this is really no great thing. And Cadillac, have this, and have a little war going. In World War II, there was no doubt, everybody was, hey, we may not make it. So we better really lean into this. I remember very vividly. We had ration cards, couldn't get gas, couldn't get this. Of course, we had an opponent where that was easy to do, a guy by the name of Adolf Hitler. That helped a lot, So if you make your opponent look like Hitler, you got a lot going for you. Well, it's got to be compelling. But see, the point is, we went in there with the support of the American people. Then we pumped out all these phony stories of how we were doing. And it wasn't paying off because we wanted to be able to show progress. So
And that's relating all this to what we did in campaign. So that was a bad decision on their part. They put out too much bad information at the wrong time or whatever. And they never backed away from that. What you're saying is
they may have put it out for initial conference, but if they really saw that was going bad, they better better replay that music and replay it in such a way that, you can always structure stuff. So you say, okay, granted, this thing's tougher than we have. You might even be able to get more support. But you have to be very careful when you do that. I'm serious, you really do. But if you keep trying to hide it when it knows otherwise, and you keep digging into your heel, it's going to pull you down. It'll just pull you down.
On the other side of it, if you're to say that your poll was worse than it actually was. At that point, now you're starting to get inside these people because they're looking.
Say that loud. You're saying something very important. I want to amplify that. You're saying something very important here.
If, for instance, you get a poll and you're, say, 45% or something, and you have a press conference and say that you're only at 35%, the other guys are looking at that poll and say, wait a second, what kind of poll is that guy looking at? That sets them to thinking what's going on, confusing them.
Let me give you another aspect. I'll let you in a minute. There's one of the things that we've done to people I've operated against, and some people have a hard time doing, once they see they have success, they want to take every little bit of it. I said, wait a minute, the data is not that accurate. We know that. I'm talking about like an engineering airplane. I said, let's understate it, goddamn it. We know no matter how we look at it, this is okay. Yet it feeds our case for the argument we're trying to pose. So let's understate it. Then what happens when you do that? You make your case. The other side's going to check it out, and they find out you understated. Christ, it's demoralized. Which is another aspect of the thing you're saying. So there's different ways that can be done. Go ahead.
Okay, let me change something. I want to change the discussion here entirely to a different subject. Because it's a problem that I've encountered in campaigns. We're talking about empathy, which is kind of the natural dissolution of everything.
That's the way it goes.
That's kind of what campaigns are. They're kind of organized chaos.
Yeah.
And it seems sometimes it's very hard to get any rigidity in an organization. So to try to make it function and do certain things. At the same time, here we're trying to be as flexible as possible. And that seems almost contradictory. In the fact that, for instance, if you're trying to put together a literature drop, for instance, I mean, that takes a lot of organization and planning, and you've got a lot of people running around that have never done a literature drop before. And so there has to be some rigidity of function.
Okay, know what you said. A lot of people never done that before. What did I tell you about before about common outlook and this kind of stuff? I said, you don't have a common outlook, you're going to have more detailed instruction, or people haven't done things before. Remember what I said about Falk? I said, remember he said, if you're division commander, you may have some people in there, you can give them a long leash and they can do it. Other people, you better watch carefully, they're going to get you in trouble. That's exactly what you're talking about right now. Now, politically, since the campaigns operate over, sort of a short period, of course, nowadays I don't know whether they're short anymore or not. And there's new people flooding in, you have that problem. But on the other hand, the military, who might have guys there for years, that transfer in and out after, they still adopt rigid attitudes. I think you people are more flexible. I've never been political, just from the comments and the remarks. Of course, some people may not be. Of course, they're not flexible enough, they may not be around after a while either. Politically speaking. But I think, this is the thing, it's a common outlook. So if you have a real good shared outlook with certain people, you don't have to give them a lot of instruction. Certain people I work with, we work together so long in different enterprises, I just get on the phone a couple of words and I just hang up. I know it's okay. And I just check back and tell how it's coming. You'll say it's going, that's good enough, press. You always want that feedback. But that doesn't mean you want to give a person detailed instruction. You always want to keep getting feedback. Just enough to be sure you know what's going on. And again, you have to understand there's a certain trust, there's a certain bond. And you have to face up to it. If it's not going right, that's one of the hardest things I've had to teach people. If it's not going right, face up to it right now. Because we can look at it. You wait, it may be too late. You look at it and say, look, we can redo it. It's not the fact that, it doesn't mean goof per se. There might be events you didn't assess correctly. Some may miss it. So you say, okay, yeah, you begin to reconstruct. Well, you wait too long, you're in a bag. It's too late. And that's why I talk about those informal loops. One informal loops. So, because what you're doing by having those informal loops, you're not only getting your formal perspective, you're getting other perspectives, and then you can start meshing together, see if they tie together, so you get a better overall image of what's taking place. I used to encourage my people, beat the bushes around the Pentagon. Beat the bushes, have a ball. So as long as we understand what we're about, let's not play some dirty games.